welcome back to the Plunder. This week's episode, we're going to do something different. I'm going to do what I'm going to call Retro Game Day, where we're just going to cover games from the past, actually. I'm just going to cover a different game every time. But this is the first episode, so I'm trying this way. Before we get to the retro games, I kind of wanted to talk about potential future projects for crafting in the Plunder Den. So, I've still got that idea of the Crash Zeppelin for Blood and Valor. I still want to do that battle map. I'm still working on that plantation. And I've kind of already gone with the windmill and the Tudor style building, and maybe I'm leaning more to that. I'm just going to give you guys some choices, and you guys can decide which way you want me to go with this. So one choice is somebody recommended from the community to build a brewery. So kind of when you're processing sugarcane, you end up making rum. It could be a brewery for certain kinds of beers, but that kind of terrain could be used in all sorts of games. I could use it in Blood and Valor. I could use it in Blood and Plunder, or I could use it in Dungeons and Dragons or another tabletop game. So Warhammer, anything. So it could be used for. It's one of those versatile pieces, and kind of. I've been leaning more to that, just trying to create pieces of terrain that can be utilized for several different types of games. So that's one option. And then I was thinking about maybe doing, continuing on with our ship builds. So I've done a few ship builds now on the Plunder Den. But I want to do a pirate ship, another pirate ship. I have only a small couple of pirate ships. I don't have any large ones. So I was thinking more doing a war sloop. So it's kind of converting a brigantine. And I kind of want to try some new paint techniques and just trying to stay to the dark black colors and stuff like that. And I was thinking maybe in that family. That's another possibility to build one of those. Of course, the brigantine rigged as a war sloop, it looks quite different. So I'm really curious of how to do that and work on that. That seems something interesting to do. So that's another option. Or I was thinking about doing some destroyed buildings. So for the Blood and Valor battle map, where I have that Crash Zeppelin, it's going to be kind of in a cityscape. I want to do some destroyed buildings. So that's kind of a terrain build I want to do. And also I want to build, and this could be used for anything, is a stone bridge. So a really good stone bridge. It could be used in that Blood and Valor map as a European bridge, or it could be used in Blood and Plunder. So maybe it's a part of a port in Jamaica or whatever, right? So that's just another possible option. So anyways, I'll just let you guys, put your comments down below and let me know what you like to see, or post on one of my other social medias on Instagram or Facebook under the Plunder Den, and let me know what you would like to, see me do next. All right, so that aside, let's get to the retro game day that I've been talking about. So some of the things that I played, and one of the original, actually, to be honest, before I played Blood and Plunder, this is the only tabletop game I really played. I played a lot of board games and card games, like Magic the Gathering and those kind of things, Dungeons and Dragons. But I never actually played a tabletop war game. I kind of started getting exposure to it playing a board game called Heroes Quest. And I know that's starting to make a comeback, actually, Heroes Quest. And we're not going to talk about Heroes Quest in that game, so if you guys are getting excited, but we are going to talk about a game that's created by the same people that made Heroes Quest. And I used to own a copy of that game, but unfortunately I don't have that, so I can't cover that in this video. But I am going to cover a game called Battlemaster. So Battlemaster is a tabletop war game. It's kind of a hybrid, really, because it's a board game, but it's also a tabletop war game. Oh, here, got it upside down. Look at that. All right, so this is the box for it. Fantastic art on it. All right, and this game is a collaboration between Games Workshop and Milton Bradley. So they did a series of games, including Heroes Quest, which is, probably the most popular right now. But this was also very popular in its time. This game came out in 1992, and it's my first time exposing to a tabletop war game. So we're going to go down to the table and take a look at this game a little bit closer. But I just want to cover a few other things in here before we head down to the table and check this game out. So yeah, just show the graphics on the back. This is kind of what the game looks like. I was probably one of those kids. This was one of the most exciting things I think I ever opened on a Christmas day. This game is fantastic. All right, so let's move aside there a sec. And I just want to talk about some other things in here that are kind of related. So that's really the only tabletop game I played. After that point, it was a lot of card games, and I'm going to talk about that in future episodes. There's other board games like Axis and Allies, and they're all strategy war games that I played, a lot of them. Eventually I moved into video games, like most people did. This is another good... by Games Workshop and PlayStation and Electric Arts came out with this game called Dark Omen. So Dark Omen is probably my favorite. There's a lot of Warhammer games out there, other games for the for different game consoles, but this is for the PlayStation 1, and this is definitely an awesome game. It is definitely I don't know. The graphics were okay. But the gameplay was so good. It had excellent gameplay, and you really had control over your units. It had an interesting story. If you ever get a chance to play this game, I highly recommend it. It's one of the better ones that I've played. And then from there, that's the PlayStation. But before that, I played Nintendo games. So this is a really good strategy war game. Some of these games you can just play online. Some people have free access to this stuff. You can just play old Nintendo games. But this is Shingen the Ruler. So this takes place in feudal Japan. Great strategy game. Kind of really the first strategy game on the game consoles that I played that really got me hooked onto all these different ones. I went and did the Romance of Three Kingdoms series, and this is another one right here. It's kind of a rare one. There's not too many that Konoe did for European style games. Most of them are in the feudal Japan or China and stuff like that, but nothing in Europe. So this is a really good European one that takes place during the Napoleonic Wars. So that's another really good recommended game. And then this is more into the fantasy side. So this is more like the Battle Master. This is called Masters of Monsters, sorry. It's a Sega Genesis game. And this is actually kind of like Magic the Gathering, before Magic the Gathering. But it was in kind of like a video game form. But it's really cool that you can start off with different creatures, and then the longer you have them, the more experience they can get, and they can turn into bigger, badder creatures. And it was kind of a interesting game. So another good recommended game. So something for the Sega Genesis, Nintendo, for PS1. Those are some of my early exposures to either fantasy or historical war games. And then just a couple of movies. Akira Kurosawa, of course, Seven Samurai, and Kagemusha. That's he came out with this a little bit later. Both excellent movies. Feudal Japan, great war strategy, movies to watch. So anyways, enough rambling on about certain things. I just wanted to cover a whole bunch of different retro things in this episode. In future episodes, we're just going to cover different games. And then I'm going to bring up other games that I have that I want to share with you guys. And I'm going through kind of the childhood leading up right to when I'm playing Blood and Plunder. So I thought this might be something interesting to look at. All right, so we're going to get down to the table and check that Battle Master out. But before we do that, if you like what we're doing in the Plunder Den, make sure you hit that like button and consider subscribing to the Plunder Den and get first-hand information. And when I put these kind of episodes out, or starting my next crafting video. All right, let's get down to the table and check out that game. Okay, let's check this thing out. Here's our rule book and manual for Battle Master. So this is a pretty straightforward game, which is fantastic. It's easy to learn, easy to just pick up. Gives you that wargaming tabletop feeling, but it also is kind of like a board game. It only take you about 60 minutes to play this game. Maybe less, depending how bad the rolls go. So let's just cover some of the units that you get. So this is the Imperial Army. So we got some Imperial Knights here. And that 4 there, that's the amount of dice they get to defend and attack with. So that's an indicator right there. So just different knights. We got some Imperial Archers. They can do range attacks. And then you got the crossbowmen. So archers can shoot 1 tile away, and crossbow can do 2 tiles away. There's the Mighty Cannon unit. As you can see, my early paint jobs as a teenager, fantastic. Some more knights. Those are men-at-arms over there. Now, if people are familiar with Warhammer, they might be familiar with these units. They moved on to using a lot of these same characters later on in Warhammer games. So let's go over to the Chaos side. Let's check out their units. So we got some Wolf Riders right here. And we got some Beastmen. And we got Goblins over there. We got some Chaos Warriors. A couple units of that. We got mounted Chaos Warriors. Got some Orcs and the Mighty Ogre. Let's get a better look at that Ogre. Let's move around. I'm going to stop at this is what I call my Braveheart Goblins. I remember painting those guys, giving them a little paint job. As you can see, I only painted 1 of each unit, but there's that Ogre. You're probably wondering what the heck was that shiny paint. You know what? When I was a teenager, I only had that, my mom's paint. She used that for painting jewelry, actually. I ended up borrowing that to paint my minis. That's all I had. So I just tried painting some of them with that. And as you can see, I didn't quite finish. So there we go. That was just some more Chaos Archers there and some more Wolfmen. So I'm just showing you some of the tiles and some of the terrain pieces that help you in the game. So that's the towers. And those are kind of like spiked walls you can't pass through. There's a lake or a swamp. You can also add more pathways across the water, a river. These are the dice you play with. If you play Hero Quest, you'll be very familiar with it. Same dice they use in Heroes Quest. Skull means attack. Shield means defend. And blank means you don't do anything. You don't ever want to roll a blank. Waste a turn. So I'm just going to kind of go over some of the special units. So the cannon unit's a little different than everybody else. Their range attack is based on these tiles. There's 10 tiles. 2 of them are exploding tiles, and 1 of them's a target tile. So the target tile is where you put it on the unit you want to attack. So when the cannon gets their turn, they target the unit. So I'm just gonna, for fictitious purposes, we're gonna try to blow up that Ogre. Now, if I can get the cannonball all the way over there without anything happening, it will destroy the Ogre in 1 shot. But it has to make it across the entire field. And most likely it won't, because it's 10 away. But anyways, I'm just going to show you how it works. So you drop these tiles. That's a bounce, and then there's a flyover. Now, if you get a bounce and there's a unit sitting there, they take damage. The flyover just flies over. And boom, that's where it blew up, right there. So if there happens to be a unit there, even if it's one of your units or a friendly unit, they are toast. So you're trying to get those tiles. It's just random. You mix them up and you put them down. So it creates somewhat of some excitement you don't know. Now, if you pull that explosion, the first one, guess what? Your cannon unit's toast. You backfire and blow yourself up. So there is a lot of risk using the cannon, just like it would be in real life. But it makes it for exciting games. So the ogre is the other special character, and it's on the chaos side. And it has 6 action cards. And these action cards are actually the ogre's hit points too. So when the ogre takes damage, he actually loses a card for every point of damage he takes. So he becomes more ineffective as he takes more damage. But at the beginning, he can do 6 actions in one turn. He can move 3 times and attack 3 times in the same turn. Which if you save him for a good crowd, it is absolute devastation. He is a 4 attack dice, so he gets 4 attack dice every time, so he can do some serious damage. So those are the two. You got either the cannon or you got the ogre. So these are the hit point tokens. So every creature in here, except for the ogre, has 3 hit points. Every time you take a damage, you have to put a skull on your little tile there. Once you get 3, that unit is eliminated. So I'll just kind of give you the basic rules of what some of these things are. Now, of course, you attack people with those dice. Whatever, how many skulls you get, that somebody hits, and then the other person gets to roll their dice depending on how many points they have to defend those attacks. Now, this is the action deck. So it's similar to, we're going to go to this. I'm just going to show you a little piece of terrain that's just impassable terrain that you can't get through. This is the activation deck. So similar to Blood and Plunder, you got an activation deck, but it's not a deck of cards. This shows you like a playing deck. This is shows you units on the cards. So this gets randomly shuffled up, and then whatever shows up on the card that pulls up, those units are allowed to move in that turn. So we'll do 1 action. So they can move and attack in the same action. That's considered 1 action. But if you're a range attack, you can only shoot, and then you can't move, or you move, but you can't move and shoot. So I'm just showing you all the different units. Everybody gets their turn. There's full army cards. I just showed you that 1 army card there, where everybody gets to use it. There's ones where all the land creatures get to go, one where all the cavalry gets to go. Anyways, it determines all by random who gets to go. So there is some strategy in first placing your units. You want your fast units to be up front, your slow ones to be behind, because otherwise they'll tie up everybody from moving. So I'm just going to kind of go over some basic rules of the tower. So really, you can only get certain units in the tower, and just showing you that when you're in the tower, you get an additional attack dice. So that archer has 3 attacks. When he's in the tower, he gets 4 attack dice. Now I'm just going to move a unit of goblins over here to give you an example. If the goblins are attacking this tower, they get, and their attack is 2, they lose a dice. So they only get to attack with 1 dice into the tower. So the tower can become a very strategic position for a unit. It makes your archers a lot more mighty. Actually, if you can get those crossbowmen up there, it's a pretty good unit to have up in the tower. Shooting people at range, they can shoot people 3 tiles away, right? So anyway, so just kind of giving you some basic rules of that, of the towers. So we're just going to pull out here. I'm just showing you that play mat. It came with this really cool, it's 4.5 by 5 feet map. So it's a little bit bigger than my game table, but it's okay. It says you can play this game as small as you want and on as many hexagons as you want it. Some of the other tokens that you get on here, there is the rock. So those, if you destroy the tower, those are the rock tiles that go there after it's been destroyed. It's kind of their hit points too. And then these yellow tokens is for campaign mode. So you can play this match out in any surviving units. You can carry them over into an additional game, and they get those tokens, and so they get more dice, 1 more dice to attack and 1 more to defend. So you get experienced units if you want to do a campaign mode. So I just want to talk about the tower one more time. I forgot to mention something in the previous. The cannon cannot go into the tower, and cavalry mounted units cannot go also into the tower. But what can go in the tower is your man-at-arms. You can put your crossbowmen. You can put your archers. I just forgot to mention movement. You can only move to whatever hexagon is touching yours, really, in any direction except through water or obstacles. All right, so that's pretty much the rules. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you like what we're doing in the Plunder, make sure you hit that like button and consider subscribing to the Plunder. And give me some feedback and what project you'd like me to do next. All right, thanks for watching, everyone.